What's up, everybody? It's the Sports Code, aka Aiden, and welcome back to another video. This is the Manchester United versus Everton 1-1 draw, match review, match reaction, whatever you want to call it. And we were absolutely dreadful tonight. We were shockingly bad. This felt worse than a loss could ever feel, to be honest. This was really a terrible way to draw the game. We probably deserved to lose. We could have lost. Very, very, very indecisive or debative VAR call saved us to getting a point. And I'm frustrated. I'm stunned. I can't believe what has happened here. I really cannot believe the performance that we put in tonight in a must-win game, and we ended up just blowing it like we've blown every single other opportunity. Opportunity have been wasted once again. There's so much that was wrong here, and there's very little positives, to be honest. And there's very, very little positives to take out of this game. The first half was fine. We were dominant in the first half, but that second half was so bad that I could not physically watch it anymore. Like I watched, of course I watched it, but I felt sick watching that second half. Not enough chances, not enough attacking willingness to go and attack the ball, and worst of all, the substitution, a defensive substitution at Goodison Park against Everton, who are close to relegation, is beyond sickening, in my opinion. That's not a move that we should be doing against Everton, and that is all Ollie, and I'm frustrated so much by that, just that one situation. And the goal was amazing by Man United, and their goal was again a stupid mistake, and we probably deserve to lose, but I don't think they deserve to score, and that's the worst part. Like, we could have won this game, man. We could have won this game. We could have got closer and closer and closer to where we needed to be in that top four. Fifth is not going to be good enough. It is not going to be good enough. Yeah, Champions League, we could get it, fine, but that's not where we. That's not how we want to make the Champions League, man. We want to be a club that's respected in the Premier League, and games like this just don't help us at all with our credibility. It does not help anybody. It doesn't help the players. It doesn't help our fans. It doesn't help what other clubs think of us. We're supposed to be respected, big team in Europe and in the Premier League, and we just can't seem to pull consecutive games together. We won what, 4, and we go on pull a performance like this. We need more investment. We need a lot of everything. And I don't want to be a fickle fan and saying from one game we were the greatest, we played the greatest game I've ever seen in 6 years, to another game where we probably played one of our worst. But that doesn't matter. Like, it's true. Go watch the game. You saw the game. I saw the game. Look how bad we played in that second half. That was worse than the Liverpool performance. That was worse than Crystal Palace, Newcastle. All those performances. It was that bad. How many corners did we concede in that second half? What, like 10, 20? How many did we conceded? So many corners. And it was all Everton in that second half. We had one shot with the Gallo. Yes, it could have been a goal. It should have been a goal. And Pickford pulled out a worldie. That's what goalkeepers do. In tough situations, that's supposed to save you, and they did. He saved them. But still, doesn't matter. We could have lost this game easily 3 or 4-0. And there's only one standout, maybe 2 standout performances here. And I'm gonna, when I get to the play ratings, I'm gonna tell them out. We'll go to David De Gea. David De Gea, look, he gets a 4. I don't want to go too in on David De Gea. He made a very good save after that silly goal. For anybody that didn't see the goal, it was basically he was getting ready to kick the ball long, and he took too long. Ended up hitting Calvert-Lewin in the leg. Deflection goal. Look, it's a stupid goal to concede. It's probably the worst goal I've seen all season conceded from us. Nevertheless, I don't want to go in on David De Gea. He has helped us way too many times for me to go and bash the guy. I like him. I rate him. He made a good save afterwards that could have easily put Everton 2-0 up. And at the end of the day, mistakes happen. It's a terrible mistake. I don't like it. Let's move on. Wan Bissaka. I think Wan Bissaka, it was ordinary. I think he gets a 6. He wasn't in positions where he could make many tackles, and he also didn't go forward at all. That's all I can say about Wan Bissaka. He was average. I didn't see anything from him today. Usually, you'd at least expect a couple of crosses into the box. Maybe I saw one. So at the end of the day, I can't say that this was a good performance from him. This was probably one of his most ordinary performances I've ever seen. So let's keep going. Lindelof probably gets a 6 as well. He got done a lot of times. Yeah, stupid yellow card as well. I don't know. Like he's it's just not working out for Lindelof at the moment. It's not having bad games, but he's not having good games either. And we need good games here against teams like this. Yes, they're tough to beat, and they're very good offensively, but we need better performances from everybody here. And it's just not good enough that Victor Lindelof has an average game. In a game like this, we need everybody to step up, and he didn't step up, and that's my problem with Lindelof. Nothing against his performance, he just didn't step up. Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire's my man of the match. I'm going to give him an 8. The reason why? Because he was the only one that dealt with the corners. If this was last year and Everton had that amount of corners, especially in the second half, we would be 4 goals down, just like we were last season. This season, it would have been the same thing. We would have been 4 goals down. Harry Maguire dealt with every single corner in our defensive box, which is what he needed to do, and he did it. That's fine. Congratulations, man of the match. It doesn't mean anything really, and I mean, you could have scored an own goal. You still would have got man of the match in my eyes. But, lucky call against us, for us, and we got saved again. Luke Shaw, I think Luke Shaw, probably gets a 7. He could get a 6 for many people, but I just think he did more than Wan Bissaka, so he gets a 7. That's all I have my opinion based off. Just a very solid performance, I guess. The yellow card was also a bit iffy. I don't know. Like our whole team got a yellow card today. It was just ridiculous. Yeah, that's all I have to say about Luke Shaw. Fred, I don't think Fred had an amazing game. I'm going to give him a 7. He was solid. He was above average, but he was nothing special today. He wasn't the guy that we see so many times. And once again, another player didn't step up in a game where we needed him the most. And yes, he still had this presence about him, but this formation, I really think, made Fred irrelevant in my opinion. I didn't see much of him. And we need to talk about the formation. I'll talk about that after the player ratings. But 7, Nemanja Matic, he probably gets a man of the match as well. And I'm going to give him an 8. Both Harry Maguire and Matic, in my eyes, were just as good as each other. And Matic was outstanding today. He did his job to perfection. He didn't do anything wrong. Passes even forward. He looked like a different player today than we've seen over the past few years. And that's it about with Matic. He's been in fantastic form and he deserves the praise that he's getting here. One of the very few players that can hold their head high and actually say, I did good today, because there was very, very few and far between that did. So 8, probably could have got man of the match. I'm only going for Harry Maguire because he saved us on multiple goals that could have been scored against us, and that's why I picked him over Matic. But anybody that picks Matic, I'm sure majority of the people would, and that's fair as well. I'm not going to say anything about that. We'll go to Scott McTominay. I didn't see anything of Scott McTominay. I'm going to give him a 6. I know he had a lot of plays where he held the ball very well. Just didn't do much in terms of defense or offense. He was just there, and he was probably the right person to take off. But at the end of the day, Scott is still recovering. I don't want to talk about Scott McTominay and having a bad game. It's just not in my mind. It was a solid game. He's a solid player. He's coming back from a very bad injury, and we've got to give him time to get back into Premier League status. That's fine. We'll leave Scott alone. Bruno, it's similar thing to Scott McTominay, except that he's so new that, yeah, you're going to see very bad games out of him. And he got a goal, so he's going to get a 7 because he gets a goal. And I think if you get a goal, you get a 7, no matter how bad you play, majority of the time. And I think Bruno was not good today. He was not good, but he saved David De Gea from total embarrassment to a mediocre type of embarrassment. And a lot of people will go in on De Gea, and Bruno kind of stopped that a bit with that goal. It was a fantastic goal, very powerful shot. Pickford probably could have done more, but he didn't. 7, it's too many turnovers. A lot of the time he got held up with the ball. You're going to get that here and there with a new signing that's still adapting to a very fast league. And he's also playing in multiple competitions where the pace is very, very different. So we're going to see different Bruno Fernandezes for a while. We've got to get used to that. He still contributed in a game where he played awful. So nevertheless, that's a class. That's a show of a true superstar when he didn't have the best of games, but he ended up still impacting the game tremendously and saving us from total embarrassment. So, yeah, Bruno Fernandes, 7. I think that's fair in my eyes. We'll go to Mason Greenwood. I'm going to give him a 5. I didn't see Mason Greenwood anywhere. No shots created. A lot of the ball, a lot of turnovers. And if you didn't score, you probably deserve the 5. I like Mason Greenwood. Again, another player I'm going to leave alone. He's young, he's youth. We got to give him more time. That's fine. Rightfully substituted off. We got to leave it at that. That's it. He's too good for me to be complaining about one bad game. He's too young and he still needs to learn and he needs to get consistency. All of that is acceptable. I'm going to leave it alone. Martial, on the other hand, he's going to get a 6. He was a little bit better than Mason Greenwood, but he also got substituted off, which was very questionable, and I'll get to that later. But he didn't have his best of games either. I hated how Ollie pushed both Mason Greenwood and Martial to the wings to help track back. I hated it. To be honest, I didn't think it was necessary. Everton were not a team that was fast breaking was on the counter attack every single play. We didn't need to do that. Luke Shaw and Wan Bissaka were covering very well. You do it on certain occasions, yes, I agree with that. But every play, you took both strikers out of the game, Ollie. And that's not, if you're trying to win a game, you don't do that. And it just shows how defensive it really was today. We really found out a lot about Ollie, in my opinion, in this game. When it comes to, push comes to shove and it's a 1-1, are we going to go for a win? Are we going to go for a draw? Or we're going to go all out and park the bus and see what we can get and maybe nick a goal? And that's exactly what we did. We parked the bus, we went for a draw, and we got the draw. I hope you're happy with the draw, because honestly, I don't think anybody, maybe people are happy, each to their own. Maybe you feel like this is a good result. I don't think this is a good result. I think we should have went all out attacking, die on our sword. If we conceded, we concede. But if we scored, we scored. And that's how I would like to watch a soccer game. This was an embarrassing game to watch, in my opinion. And we got protected pretty much. This game protected us from either an embarrassing loss or a very huge comeback, and we decided to go for neither. And that was the team. We'll go to the substitutions. First substitution was Agallo. Agallo gets a 6. He didn't do anything wrong. He nearly scored. Pickford put out a worldie, and Agallo probably should have scored there. If he just had a little bit more power on the shot, he probably could have got it past Pickford. Nevertheless, that's something there's no control over. Like, it's in the heat of the moment. It's an instinct type of shot, and it's an instinct save as well. Fair enough. We'll go to Mata. I don't see why Mata was played in this game. I feel like it's because we legit had nobody else on the bench, and he didn't suit this game. I said this before in the Europa League match review against Club Brugge. I want to see this partnership with Bruno and Mata in the Europa League. I don't want to see this in the Premier League, because I don't think both of them in the same team will benefit in terms of pace, which is eventually what we need, at least in spades, to win games. And Mata and Bruno, they're not the paciest of players, and Mata just seemed a fish out of water. He looked like a headless chicken. He was the deer in the headlights, you know. He didn't know what to do. He was pressed every time he got the ball. He had a few good plays, but we need more out of a player than just a few good passes here and there. We needed a creator, and he wasn't that creator when he came on, and therefore the substitution was bad. So we had to make better substitutions. And Brandon Williams, now nothing against Brandon Williams, but I just don't think he needed to come on this game. Why would you take Martial off when we're in a good chance to have at least a 2-1 victory, or another chance to go for goal? And if he saved it, he saved it. If anything, whatever happens, Brandon Williams was not the right player to play, and Martial was definitely not the right player to take off. And for that, Ollie's performance in terms of his tactics, that's a 0. Honestly, that's a 0. That's no way should this be allowed at a Manchester United Football Club, putting on Brandon Williams ahead of Martial when we're trying to win a game. There's no way that should ever happen. And that just shows we played for a draw. Ollie's very defensive, and he never ever wants to risk it. He does not risk in these games. He did not risk it. He's like, let's settle for a draw. And yeah, the draw gets us a point. We're still where we are with Chelsea. We're still 3 points behind them, where we could have been one. And at the end of the day, that one would have been a lot more helpful than being 3 away with Man City and Tottenham to come. I'd rather us lose and risk it than draw, and we still end up not making the top 4 because the results for Man City and Tottenham are probably not going to go in our favour. Definitely the Man City game, in my opinion. So that's it. Ollie's performance for tactics, 0. Ollie's team performance, look, the team played pretty bad. I'm going to give it a 5. But Ollie's lineup, I think the lineup was pretty spot on, but the formation was terrible. Now, I understand Daniel James got injured. You don't really have any wingers, but I say you should play a Gala up front and put Martial on the left, and you play the same formation. Why are you changing to a diamond at the end of the season where no one really knows how to play the diamond? It's not a formation that we've played probably since last season. So why are we playing it now? The diamond worked against Chelsea once last season, and that's the only time we played it, and it wasn't good here. And I think it limited Fred, it limited McTominay. It got the best out of Matic, but the rest was just not good enough. And it even got Bruno Fernandes as well. It just wasn't good enough. We didn't have any wing play. We tried to play through them, and we couldn't do it. We had one shot from a long shot, but there was no shots in the box. There was no opportunities created within the box. There was nothing. And we need to learn from our mistakes now, because that was a very big mistake and potentially a very risky mistake. And now, against Man City, I don't want to see that formation again. I don't want to see that formation played until we know how to do it. So if you want to play that formation next season, if you're still in a job, then play it then, when we have practice and we actually can perfect a formation. But this one was just not the way today. And I think Ollie tried to be too clever and it backfired. So yeah, that's it. We'll talk about the offside. It was called an offside. Look, the shot went into I can't remember who hit it, but it deflected off of Harry Maguire. Sigurdsson moved his foot away, and De Gea, obviously moving to his right, the ball went left because of Harry Maguire's touch, or it just hit him, and it went in for a goal. And I think Everton have been extremely hard done by here. I don't think this call was the correct call. I guess he is in action, but he did not physically stop the play. I guess the only reason that they called it is because David De Gea was moving in the wrong direction, and they believed that he probably couldn't get there if Sigurdsson was there. And honestly, if that's the case, look, that's VAR doing what VAR does. They're gonna rule majority of the time against the defenders over the attackers, and we're gonna leave it the way it is. But I don't think the offside rule should have definitely been applied here. It's definitely not an offside. He didn't go anywhere near the ball. He moved his foot away from the ball. Offside is very harsh, but I guess it is what it is. He was on the floor as well. It's extremely hard done by. If you're an Everton fan, you should feel like you should have won this game, because I don't feel like we should have won this game. And Everton fans, you probably do deserve to win this game. To be honest, we don't deserve to win. We probably deserve to draw, but we definitely didn't deserve to win. And that's it. There's probably something I need to talk about, but like, screw it. I'm just so pissed. I don't really want to go further into this. It's what is done is done. We're still 3 points behind Chelsea. Wolves beat Tottenham, I believe. So there's still hope, whatever you can call it. But yet again, another opportunity wasted, and top 4, it's slipping away. And honestly, we're not going to get there. Let's be realistic. We're just not going to get there. We have to beat Man City now, and that looks easier said than done. Yeah, Chelsea can slip up again, and they probably will slip up again. But you can't say that we're not going to slip up. We've got a very hard teams coming up. We've got Man City, who arguably are the best team in the Champions League at the moment, and also the second best team in the Premier League, which is a fact. Then you got Tottenham, who Jose Mourinho would obviously want his revenge against us. I do see us winning that game, to be honest, but nevertheless, they're a good side, and good sides can take a victory at any given state, no matter what position or how bad they're playing. Then you got Sheffield United, which are a very solid team, and we're probably going to end up getting a draw from that, and I can see it so clearly. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. This is not I hate reacting like this. Like, I'm so heated. I can't be bothered making stuff like this where I'm just basically screaming at the camera for something so stupid. Like, it was just such a stupid game, and we deserve to lose. Anyway, take care, like and subscribe. Peace.